Hey guys, welcome back. B is for boost, and today we're going to work on a few things. Now, it's been a while. We've been doing a lot of boosted projects, hence the name B is for boost, right? But we do have some other projects on the go. So, if you've been to, which I was going to SRT swap with a big turbo and automatic transmission. But in the meantime, I ended up buying the SRT, which is 430 horsepower. Last time it was dynoed, big turbo, ran into a couple issues, but it's still running good. So I don't need a turboed SRT, a turboed NYG, and a whole bunch of other turboed cars. So we're going to take the NYG, we're going to leave it A and go with period. I think it's a sign you have too many cars is when you're not using them and you start to get a wasp nest in the door. So we got the car inside and there's blood there. I don't know what that's from. There's a green bug there. I think it blends right in. Like I was saying, guys, we're going to do the header first. I will show you what I'm going to do for an exhaust. So many moons ago, I had another car that had an OBX exhaust on it with big tips on it, which was ugly. So here it is. So here's the OBX mid pipe with a small high flow cat, and there's the axle with the OBX muffler and the two tips. Now you see that the two tips I welded on SRT tips because I didn't like the big, there was like a 4-inch tip on it. But I acquired over the time a thermal muffler, as you see right here, and I think I'm gonna put the thermal muffler on to keep it more period correct anyways, because it's supposed to be a dual on the one side, as you guys see right here. So it's gonna be a dual on the right, but it's just gonna be a dual thermal muffler. So it's going to be 2.5 inch all the way back with a long tube header, and we're going to have to start taking things apart. Now, first things on the list is going to be the strut tower bar, and then we're going to get at the manifold bolts. Pray to God they all come out. That's asking for a lot, so let's get on this. You guys see that I was taking the exhaust manifold off. Now I'll show you a couple things. First thing is the old exhaust manifold is cracked. You can see it right down dead center. Second thing, I did notice the brake lines are pretty well pooched, so I'm going to need to replace all 4 brake lines. Now this is what puts me in the dilemma I'm in. This is going to be painted and it's going to be kept, so basically a semi-restoration or probably a full restoration. So do I pull the motor now and do it? I'll show you what I mean. The brake lines are in right down there. You can see they're pretty crusty. If I can find something to point to. So we go down here with the hammer, straight down right there is a brake line. I could probably break it by just touching it. As you guys see that there is some surface rust starting around the bolts. There's a little bit down here, which isn't that bad. It just needs to be cleaned up. So originally I was going to pull the fender's bumper off, and I'd probably do the doors at the same time, paint inside the doors, paint inside the door jambs, and away I go. So do I start it now, or do I put the header and exhaust on and leave it? The brake lines aren't gonna last long, and if I have to remove all 4 brake lines, probably better off removing the motor. Only because what's the point of putting new brake lines on and then pulling them off to paint? So that's kind of a big step. I can have this motor pulled in probably like 2 hours. It's pretty easy, but it leaves me in the dilemma. Also going to need, like most neons, the coolant pipes are starting to flake, and it just needs to be cleaned up. Do I leave the AC? It came factory with AC. So it's basically, what do I do now? Unfortunately, I think I know what I want to do now. Doesn't make it the right decision, but I think it's time just to strip the whole engine, transmission, pop the axles out real quickly, and swap it all over. Now, if I'm going through that extent, I'll show you a few things I'm probably going to end up doing then. For anyone that's not familiar with neons, this is a 95, which was a first year car, which means the wiring's a little different. And this is an ACR. It has a gray dash, which is ugly. I put black seats in it, black SRT seats in it, but you'll see all through here, this is all gray and stuff like that. Same with the door panels. It's like gray with a darker gray. They're manual. It's a manual car. Now, I was telling you earlier that I've been in neons an awful long time. I have tons of parts kicking around. That's why I had the long tube header for this, the OBX exhaust, and the TTL dual tip muffler. I also have like cams, cam gears, Iceman, sway bars. I put the BC coils on this already, things like that. Which means I do have a large selection of parts kicking around, and I do have a set of RT doors with power windows, power locks, power mirrors, and a full RT dash, which is just all black. I got black door panels. I got black everything. So I think if I'm going to that extreme, I think it's time that I do what I didn't want to do right away and pull the interior out, rewire the car, get rid of this computer. I'll show you. This computer is a 1 year only computer. It's one big plug. From 96 to 99 is a dual plug. There was slight differences between 96 and 97. 97 and 99 is all the same. I do have 97 and 99 anyways, so if I'm pulling the motor and everything out of the engine bay to paint it, might as well just rewire the whole car at the same time, put power windows, locks, and mirrors in. But I had plans on working on that Civic the next 2 weeks. So I don't really want to tear this apart, just have it sit in this bay. So maybe I might leave it at this for now. And then once I get the Civic in primer, maybe jump on this, but I don't know. I have the blue truck outside that we need to get running still. Yeah, and I'm thinking about bringing home a Beretta Indy pace car. So bring back the 90s. So that is what we're at here, guys. I honestly don't know what the best bet to do is, but unfortunately when it comes to cars like this, it's going to be all or nothing. So it has to come out. I'm going to take it out. I'm going to power coat the intake manifold. I will power coat the valve cover. I don't know if I should keep the AC or not. If I get rid of the AC, it cleans it up quite a bit, but it's nice that it's factory AC as well. So we go back in this back bay, which is a disaster, and you'll see here that I have this motor here has 100,000 on it with crane 12s. That's the underdrive pulley. So I have tons of parts to pick from. There's another one right there that's low kilometers. The intake manifold is knife edged, so I could sandblast that. This is probably the head I'm going to use, or the valve cover I'm going to use, so this dual brake cam, put that on the NYG. So there's tons of parts to use, guys, but unfortunately, I'm still knee deep in this car. So, and look at, there's so much stuff that needs to be picked up. There's a plastic fuel tank that we'll put into the neon, because the neon's metal, which was a 95-year only type thing. So as you see, there is some things to do, but there's tons of stuff to do as it is. So I don't really want to bring that along. Hey, Buffy, you want to say hi? So as you see my dog wagging his tail, we're gonna leave it at that, guys. Yeah, so unfortunately that is what it is for now. It's basically gonna have to rip it all apart and then do it. So the doors are gonna have to come off, fenders, I'll also just strip the car. I'll do the engine bay, door jambs, and trunk all together. The frame rail, do that all at once. And then I actually probably pull out the SRT right here out of this bay And then what I can do then is put my fenders and door here in trunk, and then paint the jams and stuff there, the fenders and doors here. I'll have to put a new fender on this car anyways. I'm gonna have to put a new fender on this garage anyways, guys, or a new fender on this car anyways. You see this one is damaged. I have a factory one, and then it's basically just strip the car, epoxy it, find any dents, and then high build primer it and sand it. Wasn't really looking into getting into a restoration on this car right now, but it is what it is. I did plan on pulling it up in the air and painting the floor with some Pour 15, and just because it's a Texas car, so it's solid, and I live in the east coast of Canada, so it's not going to stay solid for long. So I still plan on doing that, but I guess we just jumped into a big project with other projects on the go. Like always, guys, subscribe, turn on post notifications, let me know what you think of this project. I know originally it was going to go boost, but I'm not working. I have these parts kicking around, and we have a 430 horsepower SRT right there, a boosted Civic, a boosted Camaro. So I think this would be nice just to be a period correct 90s car. And that's why I was looking at the Indy Pace car as well. It's period correct. You know, I grew up in the 90s. I grew up with these kind of cars. So it's kind of nice to keep them. So where this is one of so many where it was an NYG and stuff like that, it's kind of nice to have. I'm thinking if I do this and I start powder coating, I'm going to do like some teal to go in with the new emblems that will be teal from the factory. So thanks a lot, guys. Have a good one, and I'll definitely catch you on the next one.